Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Tausif, is my voice audible?
Yes, Mahesh, it is audible.
Great, Tausif. Yep.
Hello. Yes, I can see you as well, man. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are even streaming live. Okay, so let me just take it over, share across. Yes, Mahesh.
Fine.
Okay, Mahesh. So, how is it going? How is your day then? How is your Sunday going? You were working today as well? Some work out there?
Yeah, working today as well. Because I was
Okay.
giving yesterday the topic, right?
Uh-huh.
In the live session
Yes.
itself, my manager sent a mail that we need to work on this ticket. So take care of that. And it was.
Okay. ठीक है. Quickly, let me just share it over on Facebook. Okay, so I'm doing that. So
Fine,
UI
Tausif.
technologies walkthrough with Mahesh. With Mahesh Kumar. Yep. Jibu, Okay, guys, so everybody in the house. So this is Mahesh right now available with us. Okay, so this is the continuation of the day which we were having yesterday. So as part of that, we launched the UI technologies. We covered it from a very granular aspect, guys, step by step, going through the things. We understood the core nature of what exactly it is to be on the front end, what exactly is on the server side, and how these basically things connect. And then as part of yesterday's session, guys, we have even touched some of the basic tools, frameworks on CSS, and how the browser tools and all those things are organized. And Mahesh has given the core foundation required. And today, as part of today's session, this is the continuation of that, the second part of it. And Mahesh is going to give further more value, which will be so much useful for many people in the house. So, yes, Mahesh. So, yeah, we can resume from the yesterday's position on to today. Yes, let's get started, Mahesh.
Yeah, Tausif, thank you for that. Actually,
Yes.
so but before we are going to the next topics, we quickly revise what are the things we got
Perfect.
to know yesterday. Yeah, after
Awesome.
that we'll see that. So what are the things we need to learn after that? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so fine. I just quickly tell what are the things I told in the yesterday session. Okay, so first we got to know about what is a front end, what is a back end, and how it works with the request and the responses. So we know what is a front end and what is a back end. So in the front end part, we need to learn the technologies of the HTML, CSS, and the JavaScript. We know what is a HTML, in the CSS. The one more thing is the responsive web design part. It is a very crucial. We need to learn that also. In the CSS, again, there are more levels actually. The CSS preprocessors are there. That is nothing but a SAS, and there are CSS frameworks also there to quickly build the websites actually. The
Uh-huh.
famous CSS frameworks are the Bootstrap, the Tailwind CSS, and the Materialize CSS. So these are the CSS frameworks for quickly building the websites. So after then we know about the JavaScript. JavaScript is a programming language. It's a very huge. But to interactivity with the website, we need to get know about the JavaScript programming language. As I told before, there are four sections in the JavaScript part majorly as I divided with my perspective. So we need to know about those things also. The fundamentals part, the DOM part, the OOPS part, and the asynchronous JavaScript actually. As you told yesterday, JavaScript is a single threaded language, but how the REST API calls will happen in generally. That is the asynchronous part. We need to learn this also. And
Uh-huh.
to get more
Mm-hmm.
with these concepts, we need to good at tools also to quickly build that. So what are the tools we need to learn? So we need to learn about the code editor, about the terminal also. And we for the debugging is a very crucial part in our industry generally, to know the how the flow is going in the code. So we have the web developer tools. Just get to know about those tools also, it will be very helpful. So after then we quickly go through what are the tools we need to learn, what are the further technologies in the front end, so that we get more depth into the front end. So I quickly share my my screen, and I will tell you what are the tools and the technologies we need to learn the further actually. So I'm sharing my screen. Hey, Tasif, can you
Yeah,
enable?
yeah, yeah. Enabling it.
Yeah,
Yes, done, 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 done.
yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay, is everybody? Okay, guys. So yeah, that was Mahesh. So he has quickly summarized it. So that's the right way of delivering of the stuff. So yes, Mahesh
Yeah,
is getting started with the. Okay, so nice. We are having some visualize effecting
yeah.
out here. Let's get started.
So I think you can able to see the webpack. So this is one of the tool actually. But first I go why it is needed actually. But so in the Java also we need modularity because we can't write all the code in a single file. We have to separate that in a multiple files for the modularity purpose, for maintainability. We need to write in a multiple files. But when you are writing in the multiple files, the memory size will be increased actually. It will be increased and it will be very tough for the it gives the performance aspect in the browser actually. So when memory
Okay.
is increased, it needs to be downloaded, it takes more time actually. So so what webpack does is generally, so by image itself it sees there are many javascript files like this javascript file and bundled and minimized that into a one single javascript file like this. As you told yesterday, we go through minimize purpose, and the code will be reduced. All these things will be happened in the webpack actually. So this is we won't touch into the webpack morely, but in the interview perspective, you need to know about the webpack also, why it is important, what are the things it do. As you see here, there is an image file. About there is an image file of 1 MB image is compressed into 100 KB and 200 KB using the online websites. Exactly same thing the webpack does, and it also adds additional features also, but right now it is not needed. Okay, the webpack is nothing but for bundling and minimizing our code and put it as a very small files, one file, all these things. So that is one of the webpack tool. Just get to know about that.
So
It's
nothing but all the PNG files will be merged into a single file and
single
available.
file.
Huh?
Yes,
Okay, okay, okay.
JavaScript all files, all CSS files into one file. The image itself showing that it is one of the tool, and it takes all the JavaScript files, all the PNG files, all the SAS files, and converts into the one JavaScript file. That is
Very
the
good,
beauty
man.
of it.
Very good. So guys, so this is nothing but in Java or the server side programming, you do a compilation and building, right? In the finally there is a jar file which has internally all the dot class files and all that available. So something similar here. So all the
Yeah,
dot JSs can be bundled into a single file and then moving on. So it becomes pretty organized in itself. Yes, Mahesh, continue please. Yeah.
exactly. So we will go to
Hmm.
the another tool also that is very important, the Babel. So Babel tool,
Webpack. Okay, so this was Webpack.
Webpack,
Okay.
correctly.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay.
So I think you are seeing that Babel is a JavaScript compiler, but why it is useful, we need to know about that. So in Java, if you see that Oracle gives the specifications of the Java, it gives the updates of the Java and new syntaxes. It adds new updates to the Java language, programming language. At the same time, it Oracle itself means previously it's a Sun Microsystems, and it gives the JDK also, JVM also, the executing machine also. If I am wrong, just correct me because I don't know the Java much. So Oracle is there.
Okay, okay. Okay,
Yeah,
continue. Huh.
JVM is there. Oracle, what it gives the specifications of the Java. It means it gives the updates
Uh-huh.
about the programming language. So that programming language goes to into the JVM to execute the Java.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So both
Yes.
designed by the Oracle only,
Uh-huh.
right? So in JavaScript field,
Ah,
that is a different thing. So we know about ECMAScript. This is one of the sorry, this is one of the organization which gives rules and regulations, the syntaxes, the updates about the JavaScript programming language. But who executes that? Where it executed means the JVM is different for the JavaScript. We don't call the JVM. We call it is a runtime mission.
hello, Mahesh. Hello,
Yeah,
Mahesh. Your voice is a bit stuck there. Mahesh, Mahesh, your
yeah.
voice is a bit stuck there. Can you repeat the last one again, Mahesh?
1 minute, 1 minute. Is my voice audible now?
Yeah,
Now
now
it
it's
is
good. Now
perfect.
it's good.
Okay, fine. So, like Oracle, ECMAScript is one of the organization. It gives JavaScript updates. Just so you didn't get that. How Oracle is giving the updates to the Java. So ECMAScript is one of the organization. It gives specification and updates to the JavaScript
Okay.
programming language. Okay, fine. But it won't give
Okay,
the
okay, okay.
JVM. The executor is the different. The interpreter is the different.
Mahesh, your video is stuck.
Is my video stuck? I'm sorry about that. Is my video stuck? Is it
Yeah,
okay?
your voice is breaking, Mahesh. Yes.
I don't know. Is that
Yes, your
an issue?
video is stuck and your voice was also breaking in between. Mm-hmm.
Right now also it is happening in the same way.
Okay.
Is it okay? Okay. I'm okay. Can I rejoin again once? Hello. 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 Hello.
Mahesh, yes, yes, yes.
Is it okay right now?
Yeah, yeah, it's good. It's good. It's far better. Yeah. Share over the screen. Yeah, let's get
Yeah,
started.
sure. I will share the screen. Okay, sorry about that. I don't know whether it is a problem from my side or from your side. Is it okay? Fine right
Okay.
now? The internet is fine. The everything is fine.
Yeah, it's continuing. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
Yes,
fine.
yes, yes.
So JavaScript goes into. I'm very sorry. Yep. Okay, fine. So whatever the program we write as a JavaScript, it goes into one mission to execute that. Fine. Like JVM, there is a one mission to execute the JavaScript programming language also. Exactly right. So, but this JavaScript executing mission, like JVM is released by the Oracle, but this JavaScript executing mission, runtime mission, will be produced by different companies, because right now Google
Uh-huh.
Chrome is there. So Google creates the one runtime mission. Again, Mozilla Firefox is there. It's a company of the Microsoft. So Microsoft creates one more JavaScript runtime mission. So different companies actually.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Yeah, go ahead,
organization,
go ahead.
yeah, the organization specification is the different, and the runtime missions are the different. For example, they have given the new updates, but these guys have not updated their JavaScript missions. So if you write in the new one, the new styles, is it fine? My voice is clear. Yeah. If you write in the new syntaxes, the old missions won't understand old executed missions.
Okay.
So finally,
Okay.
what I'm telling is Babel is a new tool that creates that transpiles nothing but it transforms the existing new code into the old code actually, so that in all
Okay.
the browsers it will be understand, it will be executed the
Acha,
Java.
acha, acha, acha.
So that is nothing but the
Okay.
Babel actually. So in interviews also they will ask this question, why we use the Babel, what is the Babel actually. So for the transforming the new code into the old code, we will use the Babel. These are the two tools we use regularly in the JavaScript world. Just get to know about these two tools. One is the Webpack, another one is the Babel. So,
Okay.
so this is
So guys,
completely.
so just understand, guys, just understand. So there is a core rules for JavaScript which is given by ECMAScript. Yeah, this is how
Yes,
it is
exactly.
pronounced. Yeah, so
Exactly.
the core versions of the JavaScript is given by ECMAScript, and from time and again they can keep adding new and new features and the capability to JavaScript. However, the execution of JavaScript happens in the browsers. Okay, and every of the browsers have to keep maintaining their own executing engine for that. So it could be possible that some new versions which is provided by ECMAScript might not be executing with some of the executing environment of the browser, and for that Babel acts like a conversion mechanism. Okay, so which is pretty good, man. It is always
Exactly.
keeping it backward
Yeah.
compatible. Very nice. Yeah.
That's it. Yes. So Webpack and Babel are the two tools we will use in the JavaScript, and then we directly go into the frameworks part. But
Yeah,
first, we are.
I remember this thing, guys. With UI, na, so these things become really tricky, everybody. Okay, that we need to write the code, and that code has to work in multiple browsers. Okay, your Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Safari, multiple platforms, and in that platforms there are multiple browser version supports as well, and then desktop version, mobile responsive. So over and all, there is a lot of things. So functionality could be one, but the checklist is big actually. Yeah,
Big,
yeah,
so
yeah.
big actually. Okay,
Hmm.
fine. So once we have completed all the JavaScript part, we need to go into the frameworks. But before we are going into the frameworks, why frameworks are needed actually? So that is the first question. Why frameworks are needed? We can do all the things in the JavaScript, but why frameworks came into the picture? So before going to that, I just to tell one very important part. Do you know what rendering means? Render means. Oh, so I'm telling you about the word render. Oh, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think this will be better. I'm sorry. You know what rendering means? Render is one of the word we use frequently in the front end development. In previous days, we know about the negatives, the photocopy negatives is there. Once we get those negatives, to get the photo, they will be printed in the white card, actually white thick card, that is a photo. So there will be a negative part will be there, and there is a photo part is there. The painting of the all colors on the white thick copy of the paper is nothing but the render generally. So the same process is going to happen in the OS also. The OS is painting all these colors, all this text in this manner is nothing but the rendering part. OS is also painting. All these are the pixels. All these are the dots actually. All these are the dots. In the dots, we are showing a different colors actually. The OS is showing the different colors. That is called means that process is called nothing but a render actually.
Okay, okay.
Okay, fine. So what is the problem with rendering with JavaScript actually? So once the problem with the JavaScript is, first of all, once we created the request and the response comes, the OS will be painting all over the screen with different colors. But again, if you give any request, if you click on any button or any link, it again goes to the request and comes to the response. Again, it paints everything from the starting itself, which are different colors maybe. I just tell like
Uh-huh.
this, which are different colors.
So
It will be,
all
yes,
whatever images or stylings of different color
yes,
combinations, whatever will be there. So whenever you get as a response, so OS is pixel by pixel printing it on the screen.
yes, yes, that
Yeah.
is
Okay.
exactly
Okay.
happening.
Okay. Uh-huh.
See the burden of the OS actually. So it starts from the starting onwards, and it has to complete up to the last parts. Up to the bottom, it has to paint actually. So that will be a massive work to the OS actually. So whenever we are giving any request to the backend, again it's coming. Again we need to paint again. So that is the part which is very difficult with the JavaScript. That's where came into the
Uh-huh.
frameworks part. Frameworks take as the single page applications. We call it as a single page applications. So what happens with the single page applications means, so
Uh-huh.
there is a screen will be like this. Okay. Once we send the request to the backend, we get the response. Okay. OS will be painted first time. That's
Hmm.
it. Nothing more than that. Only the first time. That is called the single page applications we call,
Okay.
because
Okay.
only one time it will do that. So afterwards, you click on any button means it has to change something. It has to change something means where it will be changed. For example, there is a button. 1 minute, I will change the color combination. 1 minute. Here is a button. When we click on this button means we
Okay.
have to change the color. Okay. Instead of doing the whole picture, it will change only here only. The color will be changed here only. So part of the application will be changed, not the whole screen actually. So it will be very easy for the OS rendering the whole part. Instead of rendering the whole part, only the part of the application, only the part of the screen will be changed. So the performance will be increased. And the writing the
Hmm.
code also, for developer perspective, writing the code also very easy. Instead of writing in the JavaScript, we can write the whole picture at once. So we write as a button component only, or the header component also. So my core message is telling that it increases the performance, and at the same time, writing the code for the UI purpose, it will be very easy with the frameworks actually, instead of writing with the JavaScript. That's why many
Okay.
frameworks came into the picture in the JavaScript world. And I know,
Okay.
like, it is not like Spring as standardized as we have discussed also before. So many companies have discovered their own frameworks. It's not standardized. This Spring is one of the topmost. There are so many topmost frameworks are there, but as per a job market, Angular React is a very good one. So we need to
Okay.
learn
So
those
guys,
Angular.
few quick terminologies which you need to remember in here. First one is a single page application. Okay. And in the olden days, it was not a single page application. So every time, the way Mahesh is saying, every time whenever a call used to go, it used to render right from the top to bottom the entire web page. Okay, which was a really big of a problem. But now when single page application started coming in, and then it came with customization, like piece by piece the rendering can happen, or the pixel showing up on the browser can happen, and that's the performance improvement. So it is only one time entirely displayed, and then piece by piece modified. So that is what is single page. With that single page application, you get that capability. And second is, in JavaScript there are so many framework makes our life simple. In Java also we have that. So similarly, in this world of UI, there are many frameworks available, but the most common popular frameworks available in the current market is Angular and React. Okay, so these are the two frameworks, and if you are saying really you carry some experience with JavaScript and all these things, so these two things are very important for you to be aware of. Yes, Mahesh, continue.
Yeah, so I quickly go through what are the frameworks are there, when it is released, or what it does generally. So first one is the Angular. Angular came into the
Okay.
picture, first one actually. So maybe I really don't know exactly, maybe in 2005 or something, Angular JS came actually.
Oh,
I think so, Angular JS. So this is the first version. Google has introduced this. So Angular is developed by Google actually. Uh, so actually, this is done by the JavaScript, but we have faced developers faced so many problems with the Angular JS. Actually, I will tell about what were the problems in the Angular JS. That's why Google has released the Angular 2. Angular 2.
Angular 2. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
After
And guys, there
2007
is a
or
big
something.
difference. There is a big difference between the two. Yeah.
Exactly. So there is a big difference between
The
the
entire
Angular
processing
JS.
is changed, right, Mahesh?
Exactly,
Hmm.
completely changed. That's why so many
Yeah.
members not trusted the Google also, because they changed the Angular JS to Angular 3. So
Okay, okay, okay.
from there
Go ahead, go
onwards,
ahead.
yeah, from there onwards, it is continuously releasing the updates also. Angular is one of the good platform. A lot of job market there in that. It is not going anywhere. So many members are telling that Angular is losing their traction, their demand, but Angular is not going anywhere. It is one of the good framework. So there is two things are there. There is a framework, there is a library actually.
Mm-hmm.
So two parts there. What framework means exactly? With the framework we can do entire stuff. To do the generally to make the web page, what are the things are needed? Angular framework gives everything to develop the web page. But there is another thing is there. I just show here one of the thing. React. So as they told a JavaScript library, this is nothing but why
Okay.
JavaScript is a library here, they have mentioned. Because React provides only some of the features to make the web development. So that is the difference actually. Angular gives the complete features to make the web page, but Angular gives only some features to make the web page. React gives only some
Yeah.
features to make the web page. Sorry
Okay.
about that. Yeah, that's the
Okay.
difference. I'll tell more differences why actually. So
So you are saying by nature, Angular is an end-to-end framework which has
yes,
lot of capabilities. You can blindly take it, and everything would be accomplished with Angular self-sufficient. But
yes,
if you take
exactly.
React, so the core nature of React is providing some selective JavaScript libraries which can be
Yes.
used. Okay, okay, fine. Go ahead, go ahead.
So
Mm-hmm.
that is the problem with the Angular and the React. Angular gives the complete whole framework, complete features to make the web development, but the syntax and the learning curve will be the very difficult for the Angular. For
Mm.
understanding purpose, for knowing all the things how it is working, it will be very difficult. But React is not like that. React is very easy, very simple framework, simple library. We can understand that, we can develop that. But the problem with that is we need to add other libraries also for because of this.
Mm. And
uh,
just a note here for everybody. Okay, in my projects and all that, we have always used Angular as the code framework always. Okay, so
yeah.
and since past a lot of years, I'm just seeing Angular based projects. Yes, there is some development happening in React, but so far I see a lot of dominance in Angular being used. Okay, but yes, people say React is lightweight and all that. But yeah, let's understand more about this thing. Yes.
Yes. So in the Angular, if you see what are the features they have given, what are the features they have given in the Angular by Google, only those features we need to apply that. Only those syntaxes we need to write that. But in the
Okay.
React, it's a different part. I need to select different things. Okay, React is doing some of the things in the web page. Sorry, 1 minute. Yeah.
React is given by whom, Mahesh?
Facebook. Sorry about that. Facebook.
Okay, React is by Facebook. Okay.
Facebook, exactly. So React is giving some of the features to develop the web page. There is a Redux is there. Redux is very famous for the state management, and you will get to know about these things. Don't understand these things right now because it is very confusing. State management means state management is also a library part. It's a library, and there is another part is there React router. So this is used for navigation purposes. What is a navigation purpose? So for example, we are telling the reactjs.org here. For example, if you put on the products here, it goes to the different page again. This is the navigation actually here. The URL, if you change the URL, it goes to the another page. So that is nothing but a navigation. For that purpose, we use the React router actually. So we combine different libraries and act as a framework actually. So we have the option to select different libraries and what suits for the company, and we act as a framework and we build the web pages. So that's why React is always with the combination of the libraries. So some members use the Angular, some members use the React, but both are good. Both are having a lot of job market. Once you get into those, just learn one. Don't learn two things. Just pick up one and complete it. And you, once you get into this point, you can apply to the jobs. Not at all your problem. You'll get it more.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Guys,
about
just
that.
understand. Just understand. Okay, guys. Dekho. Abhi in the projects. Okay. So there will be some projects which are completely in Angular. There will be some projects which are completely in React. Let's say, for example. Okay. So in both of the things. So point is, if you try to just learn both, na, the point is you're like 50-50 splitting, and you would not get good in any of it. So इसलिए
Exactly.
focus on one and accordingly hunt for the job. And there would be some projects which need only that full-fledged. You also prepare and you'll be able to crack that thing very easily. Okay, so don't scatter कि भाई सब कुछ everything I want to learn, everything I want to learn. Pick it one by one and then accordingly prepare and attack for that. Yes, yes. Go ahead, Mahesh.
Yeah. And I just want to introduce another framework also because in 2020 it is gaining a lot of popularity. So that is called the Vue.js actually. I'm sorry about this. Vue.js.
Okay,
I don't know
okay.
whether you heard or not Vue.js.
Mm-hmm.
Vue.js is developed by one person. That person name is called Ivan Yu. Ivan
Okay, I thought
Yu.
Mahesh Kumar kya.
No. Ivan Yu, I think. I think so.
Okay.
If I not spelled, okay, fine. So who is the Yuan Yu actually? That is the question actually.
Progressive JavaScript framework.
The
Okay.
progression. So who is the Yuan Yu means he is one of the developer in the Angular team.
Ah.
So in the Angular team, he is one of the developer. He liked all
Uh-huh.
the features of the Angular also, but he liked React features also.
Mm.
So what he does is he just resigned in the Google. He developed one framework which combination of the Angular and the React. So he developed the Vue actually. So even that is a one person only, but it is gaining lot of popularity. It's a open source project. Even we can give our updates also to the Vue.js. So it is gaining lot of popularity. If you know Alibaba, do you know Alibaba?
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
Alibaba. So
Uh,
Alibaba in complete in his organization was using by Vue only.
seriously?
Seriously, yes.
And
Because
Alibaba is a pretty big animal, huh?
so because even you is also came from China actually.
Acha,
So
acha, 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 acha.
yeah, so Alibaba
That's
is
there, huh?
using that.
Okay, okay.
That's why
Udhar setting karke he launched it, huh? Okay.
he launched that. So
Hmm.
these are the three frameworks actually.
Uh-huh.
Vue.js is also one of the popular thing. If you get to know
Uh-huh.
about Angular and React, you just apply to the jobs, you will get it. So
Mm-hmm.
this is the process, complete process. The HTML, the CSS, the JavaScript, and what are the tools I told. And the debugging is one of the main important area. And the frameworks. If you know up to this means you know that completely a front-end
Yeah.
developer. There are
Okay.
few things are there. We are going to that few things actually.
Yeah, Mahesh, can you
Yeah.
just guide the people like how they should get started? Okay. So let's say now they have to write some code assignment. So what should be their way of like practicing all these things? Which are the maybe some reference websites or anything somewhere? Like how should they get started?
Yeah, sure. So how I have started, I just told.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
It would be very good, man.
just
Yes.
go into the YouTube, just to tell HTML tutorial. That's it. You'll get a lot of tutorials, maybe 1 hour,
Okay.
2 hour tutorials also. They give complete information about the HTML because the HTML is the very small one. So you can pick it up by 1 or 2 days itself. Take 1 week of time and you will get to know about whole things. Even the CSS is also very easy part. If you type it CSS tutorial, all the things you can know about in one tutorial itself. Even I'm preparing one of the document actually because of my work. I have not provided the document. So I'm going to provide the document which has YouTube tutorials. What are the tutorials we have to see to learn the
Very good.
HTML, CSS, JavaScript? What are the paid courses are there in Udemy? Who are the means who are the big candidates that I am following in daily purpose generally. So all the links I will give, so you can go through it because right now I didn't have time. That's why I'm
ठीक
not
है, ठीक है.
produced.
That's fine. That's fine. Not a
Apologies
problem.
for
Not a
that.
problem. Arey,
So
no
in our
problem.
community, I will put that, and in the description, in this video description also, I'm
Yes,
putting the
yes,
document.
yes.
I'm sure
Yes,
about
yes.
it. Okay, fine.
Yeah. So
So
guys, so yeah, but as a starting position, the important thing, guys, is that you have to watch some video and immediately code it. Okay, code it, see
yes,
the result, experiment a bit, and become more comfortable with that. And this will give you a guys value add. Okay, that's for sure. So even if and guys, just understand, UI market and job openings are also very frequent these days. Okay, so if you are saying and UI is such a tricky thing, na ki maybe the people taking interview they also might be like okay like 70% good kind of itne great
yes,
experts might not be there as well, okay, because everything is so much changing dynamic with time. So if you can really practice good enough now, I think you would be very easily able to cope up and get a job on that as well, okay. But with Java and all, the frameworks have become so stabilized, so heavy, and people have applied it for such a long time. So yeah, they expect a lot of precision and all that. Comparatively with UIS getting in, you'll still get a pretty decent pay there, and as an entry it is a good option as well. Hmm. Yeah, yeah,
exactly, exactly. Very true
yes,
said.
yes, yes.
And
Hmm.
what I have seen is there is a demand in the market, but people are not there up to that mark. So that
Ah,
is what I have seen even in
right,
my
right,
industry
right.
also. So
Yes,
what?
yes, yes.
So there is. So if you get into the front end development means there is a very good market there right now. So you will definitely get a job.
And guys, just
So
understand which world we are getting into. Everybody is about look and feel, right?
exactly.
Customer, eye catching, and all that. So, abhi functionality, so that is the default expected.
Yes.
Functionality, security, those things cannot be compromised. But now the focus entirely is into this mobile app development, responsive websites, app websites, color combination, effects, and all that. Because competition is running there actually. Okay, how much even guys? There are some sites. There is so much competition. Okay, people will not be okay to even have like 1 second of delay in processing. They'll be like, no, 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 I don't want to use this site. It is like too slow. It is taking too much time to load, and people will switch over. If it is not attractive, people will switch over. That's where, guys, UI is becoming more challenging. Okay. And
Exactly.
because there is no defined structure there, thank God these Angular things came in picture. React came in picture. Otherwise, life was pretty hell before that, guys. Yeah.
Really. Yes,
And every
exactly.
company is having their own custom frameworks written on top of JavaScript, guys. Okay. So
Yes.
big companies can afford that, but small companies, medium companies, they used to really like, okay, do something and get the work through. But a lot of time used to get lost. Yeah, Mahesh, continue, please. Yes.
Yeah. So so some companies don't means don't trust these frameworks also. They write their own frameworks. They completely depend on the JavaScript only. So
Yeah,
instead of
yeah, yeah.
this,
People do
yeah.
that. People do that, man. Yes.
Yeah. So after we came up to this level, we have to know about one more thing also. We are going into the TypeScript world. So we know the JavaScript and there is a TypeScript also.
Uh-huh.
So previously I have discussed about the Angular, right? I have in the Angular, I have discussed the Angular JS and Angular. There are two things, sorry, Angular JS and Angular 2 came into the picture. Why two versions? Why this is not so popular and why this is so popular? Angular 2 is the so popular actually. So if you see the JavaScript is a dynamic typed language. In Java, we know in Java generally it's a static typed language because whenever you are declaring a variable, you need to say it as a int, whether it is an int, whether it is a string or a float. All these things we need to tell. In the string variable, you need not to put that number or any array. You need to put the string only. But in JavaScript, it is not like that. Once you have defined the variable, means you can put it number, array, or object or string, whatever that is. So it's getting lot of bugs there. So Angular JS has released with the JavaScript language actually. That is not so popular. That's why, because a lot of developers have got the trouble with the JavaScript. But Angular 2 has released with the TypeScript actually. We are going to.
Okay.
So what TypeScript has given? Uh, so this is the TypeScript. So what TypeScript has given means it's a superset of the JavaScript. It gives the additional features to the JavaScript only. Right now, it is not it's a dynamic typed language, means we can put whatever the value in the variable, but in the TypeScript, we have to mention whether it is an int, whether it is a string, whether it is an array, so that we can going to put string or number, whatever that is. Otherwise it will throw an error. It will show that is a wrongly typed, wrong syntax. It has a compiler. It will tell that it's a wrongly compiled, so the syntax is not correct.
Okay. So
So
data
that,
type is
yeah.
there. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So in the developing time itself, we will get to know about what are the errors, so that errors will be minimized. So
Mm-hmm.
TypeScript is one of the superset of the JavaScript, but it is very good to know about that. This is not
Okay.
mandatory, but it is very good. If you know the TypeScript means, it is very good actually.
Okay, guys, understand the
Yes.
terminology. TypeScript. Okay, so there is a precision about the data type there. You have to declare and use it. JavaScript by nature doesn't have it, and the Angular JS, the first version, was not having it, which caused a lot of mess in while building up the projects. So all those things, drama is removed with the Angular 2 version. Okay,
Yes,
fine.
that is
Yeah.
nothing but the TypeScript.
Okay.
So another thing I am going to tell, if you are in the front end itself, means in the front end or back end, the testing is very important actually. That's why we call that test driven development. In small companies, they won't write test cases for what are the code you have written, but in the big companies, you are going to write the test cases. That is confirmed actually. So you need to know about what are the test frameworks also for testing purposes. In JavaScript, I'm going to say one popular thing, that is a jest. Like what is the
Yes.
JUnit or Mockito, that there is a jest. This is one of the
Okay.
framework. There are so many things are there: jest, mocha, chai, all the tea names. It's okay. Fine. So jest is one of the most popular framework in JavaScript world. Testing framework, this is like a JUnit. That's why they are telling it's a pass, this is the jest, or it's a fail, like that.
Okay.
We are seeing this, right? So we are
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to,
In our
yes,
project, we are implementing now unit test cases on
yes,
the web pages as well.
web
Yes.
pages, right? So
Hmm.
if you know about the testing also, it will be added good to your resume, or so they will give some extra importance to you if you know the test cases also, because these days they are looking for to write the test driven development, TDD, Yes,
Yes,
correctly.
yes, yes. Test
Yes.
driven develop. And guys, important here. Don't tell ki yaar, I'm only a HTML guy or only a CSS guy or only Angular guy or only a React guy. Be open enough to know everything about the UI world. Okay, don't try to narrow yourself down. Step by step, and that's what it's a always ever learning curve. Okay,
Yes,
so
exactly.
don't pull yourself back. And UI is such a world. Now there is a lot of experiments there and everything is on Google. Say, figure this out, acha, apply this, working, not working. You have to keep a lot of exploring happening. Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I will
It
tell
just
one
is
of
the
I will
uh-huh.
tell one of my means one of my experience also. So we
Okay.
will do very small mistakes also. It Many times we'll do a very small mistake also. All the developers face it. So one of my mistake on the CSS is I have written
Uh-huh.
one of the property like COLOUR actually. It's a color property in CSS. You can I don't know. You can I'm sorry. This is a color property. Okay.
Okay.
So I didn't get noticed that, and the color is not displaying there actually. So hours and hours I have seen, I didn't get the
COLOR,
what the
huh?
problem is
Hmm.
exactly. COLOR is the color, not
Right, right,
the
right.
COLOUR. So all these mistakes will be happening. So it's fine to us. And it's a lot evolving, and day by day the updates will come, different things will come. You need to have an attitude of the learning actually. If you are in the front end field, means in any field the
Yes,
attitude of
yes.
learning is very important. But in the front end more updates will come, I
Yeah,
know that.
more updates, guys, because maybe in 3 months what you are using might be outdated,
Oh,
guys.
there. Yes,
So
exactly.
somebody like this Ivan Yu, yeah. So
Yeah.
he didn't like the existing thing. He came up with his own new framework altogether. And just because now Alibaba is completely using that, the world will be, array, we can also use it.
Yes.
This is how the world works. Okay, so if people start using, others will just follow. Okay, so understand that. So all it's a dynamic world, and you need to always keep learning and checking what's happening in the market around. Okay, you cannot be saturated with the UI because otherwise you'll be pulled back. Okay, server side mein chalega Spring. You can learn Spring MVC, Spring Boot, and still survive for next 5 years without too much tension there. Okay,
Yes.
but in the UI, in 5 years maybe the framework will be scrapped completely. Okay, so you
Yeah.
never know
It's
because it's evolving, guys. The UI world is really needing new and new things, so people have to develop that. And there are a lot of smart brains sitting out there who will be coming up with new and new things every single time. Yeah, Mahesh. So just
uh,
the unit testing framework onto the UI side. The way server has JUnit or TestNG, like that on the UI side, we have just as the framework. Yes.
exactly. So whatever you told,
And
like
there are
it's
many other frameworks as well. Yeah. Hmm.
yes, whatever you told, like it's evolving like anything. I just
Uh-huh.
give one of the additional point for what
Okay.
that
Okay.
svelte. I Okay, svelte. So
Okay.
I'm
What is
telling
this?
about this svelte. Svelte is one of the new framework in the front end world again.
Ayla.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is developed by Harris, I think so. His name is Harris or
Okay.
A Harris, I don't know. But
Uh-huh.
what we are thinking in the development world is Svelte becomes, or after 5 years or after 6 years, it will be the so popular thing. It is very, the performance is so high for that actually. So whatever the drawbacks are there in the current frameworks, it has cleaned up, and it has given the good experience, good performance for writing the website. So Svelte is very new, maybe 1 year actually, but after 5 years it gains its traction, it gains its popularity, and we are going to use the Svelte also. This is what we
Mm-hmm.
are thinking that.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay. Okay.
just remember this, need not to learn right now, but Svelte is one of the good thing. So keeping you update is it's a very good thing actually. If you are updating means, so this is one thing that's very fine. And again, I need to tell about one more thing is the PWA, Progressive Web Apps. PWA. So what is the PWA actually means? So these are the extra things. If you know about these things means it will be very good actually. If you know the Instagram actually, if you remove the Instagram app from your mobile and you just open in your browser itself, in the phone browser itself, you will get
Uh-huh.
one window at the bottom. So can you add the icon to your phone? If you open in the
Yes.
book, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Mm.
So what
Mm.
it is means that is the desktop version, but acts like an app in your phone,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
right?
have it actually right now.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
that
so
is
this is
not.
my website actually. This is my website. Okay, people will not be able to see, but yeah, it's as icon. Yes.
So that is nothing but the progressive web app. why
Mm-hmm.
why the progressive web app came into the picture means, so Google has researched on our apps actually. So in our phone we have so many apps, maybe 20 or 30, but daily we are using 3 or 5 apps only maximum. If you are using the stock Android mobile means only 5 apps will be displayed on the top of the apps actually, if you see that, because Google has researched that and told that the people are using only 3 or 5 apps in a day only. But there are so many apps installed in the phone that is completely wastage of the memory in the phone actually. So most of the people are going to the progressive web apps right now. Instagram, like Book My Show or OLX, Book My Show.
Acha.
Yeah, if you open that means, if you open the that site in your phone browser means, it gives one pop-up actually. So can you add this icon to your phone? So from that onwards it opens in the browser, but it acts like an app generally. So if you get to know about how the progressive web app works
So
also, it
nothing
will
but
be very.
it is a mobile version. Okay, so the same website development that we are doing. Okay, so it's a
Yeah,
mobile website. It's a website basically, but it's a
website.
mobile version wala website, right?
It
This
acts
concept.
yeah, it acts like an app generally. For example, in the app we can have a feature of the camera, but in the
Uh-huh.
website we don't have that feature. But if you add the progressive websites, we have
Okay.
added some code to that actual website means, we can access
Okay.
the phone camera also with
Okay.
with
Okay.
the
Okay.
websites actually. So all these
Mm-hmm.
features are given by the progressive web apps generally.
Okay.
It is
And this
developed by
can be
the.
integrated. This can be just put in along with Angular React to anywhere.
Yes,
Kya?
yes, yes, exactly,
Acha.
exactly.
Acha. Acha. Acha.
So
Acha.
that's why it's
Okay.
telling that some, it's actually actual mobile also, in one framework mobile also, because it is a
Very good.
progressive one.
Very good. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So 1 minute. I just try to show here one of the thing. Control shift
So
A.
guys, just understand how the things are evolving. Okay, why even
Yeah.
waste the memory of the phone? Okay, so
I
app is a waste of time. That's where people are coming up with a lightweight version which will run in a browser but behave like an app kind of feature. Pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that's why if you see this lighthouse, this is one of the web developer tool. This is the developer tools I have opened. Lighthouse has recently added in these web developer tools. It tells about what is the level of the progressive web app. That's why if you generate the report will be generated how much the progressive web app is. This is an Angular framework. This
Oh,
is
is it?
developed by the Google. So that's why they told, so categories, performance, progressive web app.
Nice, nice,
Yes.
nice,
So
nice,
these are
nice.
the things has evolved so lot. If you know up to this point means you are a rock star front end developer. Everybody
Yeah,
will
yeah,
give you
yeah.
job here.
Lot of new things I also got to know, man.
Yeah. So this is completely about the front end frameworks actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I just quickly revise what are the things you need to know in the front-end developer world. We know that the HTML, CSS, JavaScript are the core basics. We need to learn that. In the CSS, there are so many frameworks, Bootstrap or the Materialize CSS, the Tailwind CSS. Just get to know about that also. In the JavaScript world, it's a programming language. Get the good understanding of that programming language, because we are going to use in all these frameworks we are using nothing but JavaScript only. Even if you are using the Spring also, you are using the Java code only internally. So get to know about the good JavaScript command. So after then just go to the tools actually. What are the tools? VS Code is one of the code editor actually. So just know about the tricks and tips of that. What are the shortcuts there? What are the extensions? And terminal you are going to use in your regular world generally. In the development field, you are going to use the terminal. Know about what is the CD, what is the PWT, how we have to move from one folder to the another folder, how we create the files. Just know about the some basic stuff. Know about the debugging, how we have to move the code also again. So once you got about all these things, then the next step you are going to. So again, there are two tools. I generally forgot about that. One, Webpack is one of the tool. So in some interviews, They are going to ask what is a webpack, what is a babel also. Once you got up to this point, just go to the framework. So this is the thing. You just to pick it up one framework, whether it is an Angular or React, both have good job world in the market generally. Pick it up one and just master it, that one, Angular or React. Everything is fine. So there are so many frameworks also. Pick up one and just learn it. Few of the tools you need to know about that after then also. So in many companies they are using the TypeScript also. Why TypeScript is needed? If you put in your resume what is a TypeScript, generally I know the TypeScript and I know the testing purpose also, it will be an added advantage to you, because so many front-end developers you don't know about the testing and the TypeScript also. If you put in your resume and you know some idea about that, it will be added advantage to you. Definitely they will give some extra marks to you, surely. So right now it came into the
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So it is a new thing actually, progressive web apps. So many companies are introducing that, because I have attended the Book My Show interview actually. So he told me about the progressive web app actually, because right now we are developing the progressive web apps, whether you know it or not. He asked the question in the interview, then I got to know about the progressive web apps actually. So this is one of the
Mm,
current field. So get to know about all these things, you will be the rock star front end engineer. This is completely
nice,
about the
nice,
front
nice.
end. So
Yeah, very.
yeah,
Very nicely done. Very nicely done, Mahesh. And I think all these things, yes, we are, guys, and this is the core pick topics you have picked it up, okay? And I think even if you spend like maybe 3 4 days in each of the topic, doing some basic small applications with that, experimenting what it is, how you can apply it. I think in a matter of 1 month now, you will be able to play around with all these things very nicely. Okay,
exactly.
and at least that smooth flow, if that comes now, then you'll automatically get confidence. Like I have some awareness, you can go and interview, even if you're a server developer, you can say yes, I'm having some awareness of that. And yeah, means if yeah, in given a project, yes, I can work around with the other people and then can build something there as well. Okay, basic knowledge है देख बोलो, but if you want to explore really on the UI side, then I think you need to practice these things a bit more. Follow the tutorials which Mahesh is going to share very nicely. Do some more rigorous hard work, practice it more. And guys, lot of market is there. Okay, UI wala cheez, there are a lot of projects coming up, and like it's like on demand, fatafat, like immediate joiners required on UI. Yeah,
So if so I'll take 10 more minutes or 5 more minutes to just go through that the
sure, sure, sure.
JavaScript frameworks of that. Very quickly I'm going to about the Node
Okay,
actually.
okay, okay.
So Node is one of the top server side framework right now. It's a Node
Yeah,
actually, right? So many of the developers know what is the Node actually. So you
guys,
know,
this is being very widely used, guys. Very widely used. Yes, yes,
very
yes.
widely used actually. You know about the Java. Java is the server side language. Node is not
Hello,
the
Mahesh.
language. Hello, Tausif, Tausif. Hello, hello, Tausif,
I can't hear you, Mahesh.
Tausif. Right now, can you able to hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Voice is good. Voice is good.
I think it's breaking. The net is breaking actually. Right now, it's fine. Is it fine?
Yeah, something is going wrong. Mahesh, can you hear me back again?
Yes, yes, yes.
Hello, Mahesh. Can you hear me back again? Okay.
Yes, Tausif. Yes, Tausif. Can you able to hear me?
Arey yaar.
Can you able to hear me, Tausif?
Hey, Mahesh, can you hear me?
Yeah, Tausif, I can hear you.
नहीं पता. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, fine, fine, fine.
Okay, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
So, okay, fine. I'm sharing my screen again. I'm sharing my screen again. So
Okay.
okay, fine. So you know about Node.js, right? For example, so for server-side languages, we are using the Node.js. This is completely a JavaScript runtime environment. If you know the JavaScript means you can write the server-side language also. For server-side also, we are using the Node. We have a good job market on the Node actually. That's why we are calling the mean. So these terminologies we are using, that mean or mun. Mean stack. We are telling that. What is the mean stack? Is one of the MongoDB. MongoDB is nothing but a database. It's a NoSQL database. Call this. There is an SQL databases, and the Express is one of the framework for the Node. Actually, it's a framework. So Node is the server side language. A is nothing but an Angular. So this is a complete stack to develop the web application from end to end. Nothing but front end also we will develop using the Angular, and back end we will develop using the Node, Angular, and the MongoDB. So this is
Okay.
one of the good thing using the Node. I'm quickly going through that. So Node is one of the JavaScript runtime environment. So just knowing the Node is very much beneficial to us. And there are few other things. One is the React Native. I'm telling you about that. So what is in React Native is, so React Native is nothing but a JavaScript framework to create the mobile apps actually. So previously we are creating the mobile apps with Android and the Shift languages. With the Java and the Shift languages, we are creating the apps. But instead of that, if you know that React Native, it's one of the uh, JavaScript framework actually. You can build one app and install it in two softwares. One is the Android, and again another one is the iOS also.
iOS.
iOS also. Like right now, the Flutter also came. Like how Flutter is developing, means the apps, whether in the Android, in the iOS, React Native is the same thing. Means you can develop the apps also, the mobile apps also with the JavaScript. I'm telling that. So this is one of the
Mm.
good thing with the React Native in the JavaScript
So
world.
guys, are you understanding how much of the effort will be gone? So we don't need to hire. Okay, just understand. If you want to develop a mobile app, we don't need to really hire an Android developer. Okay, because if you
Exactly.
really have a UI person who can work with just JavaScript, he can very quickly adapt to a React native language, and this is giving the capability you can develop an app which can actually work for both Android version as well as iOS version. Okay, so how much of the manpower is cut down, and like it's like more extended capability for the UI guy. Pretty good, pretty good.
Okay, fine. So another thing I'm going to show is the Electron actually. So this is one
Otherwise,
of,
guys, okay, no, just understand. Otherwise, we need to hire an Android developer separately. We need to hire a iOS developer separately, and then those guys will be having their own bugs separately. Yeah, and their life will be held separately. Okay, so all that pain is gone here. Pretty good.
yeah. 1 minute. Okay, fine. So I'm going to tell about the Electron also. Electron is one of the framework, JavaScript framework. We can build the desktop apps generally. Right now you are using the WhatsApp, right? You are using the WhatsApp in your browser actually currently. Sorry, in your OS, right? You are using the Slack, WhatsApp, or the Facebook Messenger. If you are using that, that is nothing but developed in the Electron only. So for the desktop apps also, like VLC Media Player is one of the desktop app. So that is developed by the Electron JS. So this is one of the good JavaScript framework that can build the desktop apps. Like as I am showing here, the Visual Studio Code, the Facebook Messenger, the Twitch, Slack, and the Figma all are developed using the Electron JS. So there is a lot in the
Okay.
JavaScript world, but these are the additional extra things in the JavaScript. Even I don't know about the Electron JS. I don't know the React Native also. But knowing these are the good actually. So there are a lot of things you can do that. So this is completely about the JavaScript and again the front end world. So that's my part, guys. I'm so glad of you to sharing all this
Nice, nice, nice,
information.
nice.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, yeah, it's guy deep, wide, end-to-end kind of a knowledge, and yes, it would definitely be helping a lot of people, Mahesh. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
guys, अभी यहाँ से आगे लेके जाना, right? Have this awareness, because
yeah,
this
yeah,
is what we are into the IT world, and it's required. Having end-to-end knowledge will make you a proper professional. Okay. So
exactly.
yes, maybe for entry, if you are a fresher at that time, just be focused in one your core primary arena. But having this extended awareness is good. Okay. But if you really want to try it out in UI world, then yes, this is the thing. Practice all these things, whatever he is mentioning. spend 1 hour, a month of rigorous efforts on this one, and maybe start becoming a specialist in these all things. Okay, but
Exactly.
otherwise, yeah, all the server guys in the house, just knowing the terminologies, knowing how these things work is pretty valuable enough, and then take it through further. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. So this is what it is, Abhi. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Mahesh, anything else you want to add?
No, nothing, Tausif. So this is a whole thing about the front-end development. I feel there is a lot more improvement in the JavaScript world also, because in my first job, I have worked only in the JavaScript only, nothing HTML, nothing CSS, only JavaScript. There are a lot of jobs in the JavaScript itself only. After then I have learned the Angular, then the React. So I went to the different companies there. I was working, and currently I'm working
Yeah.
in the React. So
Yeah.
if you get to know about all these things, I'm just telling to you, there are all different things are there. There are Python, there is a JavaScript, along with that a Java is there. So getting know about all these things gives the direction actually. If you know only on the Java means you go to that direction. If you know different things means you can choose the path and go into that. It will be created interest actually. So that's what I'm telling, that
Yes.
know
Yes.
about all
Yes.
these things.
Yes. Yes, yes. I'll just like to tell one use case for everybody. Okay, many are like beginning stages and early stages in their career. Okay, I'll just give you one a basic use case which is going to be available in each of the application which you build up. Okay, and it is nothing but the basic authorization and authentication related use case. Okay,
Yeah,
and it's a combined effort of both the UI side and the server side to ensure that this works very properly. Okay,
exactly.
so for example, at the UI side, the person provides the username and the password. Okay, there are some use cases where the UI guys might be encrypting it and then sending the password to the server. Okay, by that way, the password is not really visible, but there is a proper logic of encryption which runs on the UI and as well as on the server side, by which the even over the network the password would be encrypted. Okay, and by that way, the UI is going to provide those credentials to the server. Okay, now what does the server do? So server, the step number one is the server has to validate whether those credentials are available in the system or not. Okay, and if they are the valid credentials, lot of security layers come in between there. Okay, for example, SQL injection attacks, and like at the infrastructure wise, there are a lot of security principles which would by default be applied for any incoming request in the system. Nothing but these are called as web application firewall rules, WAF rules. Okay, so guys, that is going to happen. The kind of WAF rules will be available, and after all that penetration happens, then the system goes to the core server side risk. Okay, now the server goes to the database, verifies whether these credentials are there or not there. Okay, and if the credentials are there, okay, if he is considered to be a valid person, then automatically what does server do here? Okay, so server generates a token, nothing but JWT token. Okay, so this is on the server side. A JWT token will be created maybe with the expiry time. It could be like 1 hour expiry or 10 minutes expiry, 15 minutes expiry, different applications, different expiry, and this token is given back as a response to the UI guys. Okay, and now it is expected that any further API call you do, for example, if you are doing a net banking application, those the step one is you need to have your credentials validated, then only you will be allowed to do any other payments. So understand, there is a very close tie between UI and the server side. So when you get the JWT token back, okay, then it's a responsibility that the UI developer for every further request, API request, has to provide this JWT token. That is the UI guy's responsibility, and the server guy's responsibility is every request which comes in, we need to verify whether this JWT token is a valid token or not. Okay, and what is the definition of valid? Nothing but when it is created for the first time, it is having that time frame, let's say 1 hour. So is that 1 hour still valid? Is the token coming? And then there are logics. Do you want to extend it, not to extend it, all these kind of drama. Okay, and guys, another thing, now with all the current world, this JWT token which is created on the server side, it is not held in your in-memory data structure. Okay, it is all available as part of the Redis cache or somewhere outsourced, okay, because we are getting into a system where a lot of like microservices, like multiple instances will be spawned. So keeping the data, guys, understand this from the server side perspective, holding the data much of in memory is going to cause lot of troubles when we work in a multi instance based environments. And with all these new things, terminologies coming up, Kubernetes and all that, it becomes really challenging, okay. Because what is Kubernetes? If the load increases on the system, one more instance will be spawned and the request will be processed. So we need to very nicely care about all these systems which will be automatically growing. You might be like, hey, I'm a fresher, I'm 1 year of experience, but guys, you will be working on such systems where these things cannot be compromised. So having this knowledge is going to be really required. So the JWT token is going to be created. It will be available in your Redis cache. Next, whenever the UI is making a call, you have to introduce an interceptor layer before. Now, clarity in processing, very important. Functional layer is different. Controllers functional different. There is an interceptor layer in between where every request comes inside. You take it, you read the token from the request. If the token is not there, you fail the request immediately. If the token is there, go inside the Redis cat, see whether it's valid, not valid, and accordingly take some actions, and then only the request goes further. Okay, so these kind of things where both UI and the server has to closely coordinate. Okay, and the second form is cookies. Okay, so UI and the server, there a lot of cookie exchange will happen for the data between the two parties. So people have to be really careful with regards to that as well. Okay, and just one thing, Mahesh, I would like to tell, this was one of a use case which was very strongly discussed multiple times. Okay, these tokens are going, or the cookie is going into the browser. Okay, what if somebody right clicks, inspects, and copies that token or cookie, and then goes into a Postman or some other environment and tries to replicate it? How much is the security compromise there? Okay,
So yeah.
yeah. So
So
yeah, so
yeah.
these
So if
things,
you
yeah, so these things get pretty tricky, everybody. Okay, so if you're giving these tokens back in response, the UI has to maintain it in maybe in their storage somewhere to keep passing it every single time. Okay, and what happens if this gets compromised, if somebody takes it away? And that is where we need to build up that system. Okay, hey, the expiry is limited, maybe just 5 minutes, and within the 5 minutes itself we should get another call, otherwise we'll not be processing the request. These kind of things should happen, and be very careful with regards to all these security related handling. And that is a core responsibility both from the UI side and the server side. And yeah, this is how you do it. Because one of a risk comes in if you're getting to an internet cafe, if you're using somebody else's machine where you log in and by mistake you accidentally leave it. If somebody takes your token and misuses it, it's a problem. Okay, Mahesh, are you aware of this thing, HTTP cookies?
I know the cookies are
HTTP cookies.
no browser
Okay.
cookies. I know about that, but
No,
so
in browser
encryption.
cookies, no, no, in browser cookies, there is a different variant called as HTTP cookies, which is like people are theoretically saying these cookies cannot be read on the browser side. Okay, matlab browsers have implemented in such a manner that it would not be accessible to people, but we are yet to explore on those pieces. Yeah, so that is what is going to come. So
Yeah.
just be aware. Be it you are a UI developer, be it you are a server developer, we are working together to build up the right application. And this use case which we said is going to be part of every project that you do. And yeah, be careful with that. Okay, be really careful with that. And there is one more thing which I would like to add since we have some time here. Okay, one more use case of this. We said authentication. So what we spoke so far is authentication, like
Exactly.
checking for the validity, like it is true or not. Second is authorization. Okay, now what is authorization? If you are into a internet banking use case, okay, you are using a internet banking SBI. So you are a valid user of SBI. I am a valid user of SBI, but you should not be able to transfer money from my account, right? That means you're successfully authenticated, but behind the screen, guys, you should not be able to call an API which is saying कि withdraw Tosif's money and transfer somebody else, right? That is where, guys, in your system you need to include the layer of authorization as well. Nothing but before processing the API, you need to see the person who is requesting, is he actually acting on his own account? This kind of an additional layer will also be implemented. So just be careful. Okay, so just be careful. Having all this knowledge, even like as a fresher, 1 year of experience is like very good for your part. Okay, and every application should be built in this regard. It will be taken care by some senior role and all that by implementing, but you should be aware like what is the risk involved if these things are not really taken care. Primary use cases guys, mandatory use cases of the system, इसके साथ compromise किया तो life झिंगा लाला फिर, ठीक है?
Truly told, Tausif.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So, ठीक है, thank you, Mahesh, for sharing such wonderful knowledge with everybody. And definitely, I think many people would have got a lot from all these things. Okay, and everybody, yeah. So, make some most of it. Okay, just not attend and leave it. Take something and have a like. Yeah, I also know UI as part of the outcome of these sessions. Okay, so thank you all and have a nice and wonderful time. And we'll be meeting, guys. Just told you, right? So tomorrow 9:30 on this YouTube channel. Okay, tomorrow 9:30 on this YouTube channel. I have morning AM 9:30 AM in the morning. We are going to perform live pranayams. So if your office is starting at 10 in the morning, you can come. We'll be performing some live pranayams and getting more energized. And उसके बाद वापस से day start करते हैं. This is how we are going to do it. Thank you all. Thank you, Mahesh. Means a
Thank you,
lot. And
Tausif.
thanks for giving some time, your time for this. Okay,
Uh,
guys, and everybody, just be aware. Today, Mahesh was busy with his office work, and there was a lot of things happening. But still, he made some time out. He came out for sharing some of his best knowledge. And yeah, so yeah, Mahesh, we value your time and efforts. Thank you, buddy.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's my pleasure to share all this knowledge. Thank you for giving this
Yes.
opportunity,
Yes.
Tausif.
Yes. Yes.
I'm
Good
very
stuff.
happy
Good
for
stuff.
this.
Yeah. Super. And
Yeah,
we are also very happy to have you, man. Okay.
yeah.
So, chalo. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice and wonderful time. Chalo. Bye. Take care.
Bye
Take
bye.
care.